let's get some fun stuff started. I'll introduce myself. I am your host, as always. My name is Ythan Lax, L-A-X. Simple last name. You wouldn't think it would cause that much trouble, but does anybody know the three-letter code for Los Angeles Airport? What is it? LAX, correct. I have never been there, but 17 pieces of my luggage have been floating around that carousel for years and years and around it. But I am getting the last laugh on this name. The bitch that I divorced 10 years ago will forever be an X-Lax. And it's still appropriate because she still annoys the shit out of me. It's been an emotional few months for me. A couple months ago, my mother passed away. She was 94, so it was a long life, but my mother in her prime, how can I describe her to you? She was sort of a slightly more intense, a little bit more over-the-top version of Beverly Goldberg. You know, the Jewish mother character on the Goldberg stereotype. You know how Italian mothers are known for like putting plastic over the furniture to keep everything clean? My mother had a better solution. Nobody ever allowed in the living room for any reason. It wasn't a living room, it was a museum. And her favorite exhibit in the museum was a velour chair, green velour with a wooden back on the side, and every piece of velour was brushed exactly the same way, no discolorations, nothing. It was 30 years old and it looked like nobody ever sat in it, because nobody ever sat in it. And one day, my mother's friend Betty came over, and typically the meeting place was the kitchen, and the phone rang. And my mother had a rare moment when she dropped her guard. She was on the phone, and all of a sudden Betty is making her way towards the living room. And not just towards the living room, the chair. And almost as if it was like in a movie, you could see my mother drop the phone and go, "No!" And she gets there just a little bit too late. And as Betty seen, I hate to describe, Betty was a great lady. She had a personality that was as big as her ass. Okay? And all of a sudden, Betty's sitting down and she's working 300 pounds of ass into this chair. And she's like, "Oh, Faith, I never noticed this chair was so comfortable. I don't think I ever sat in this before." And my mother's like, "No, I don't think you'll ever sit in it." And then all of a sudden, she starts to move her back against the wooden side of the chair. And she's like, "Oh, this part scratches the folds in my back fat. It's great." And she put up her arms and remembered her nickname, Sweaty Betty. And I don't know what the hell that woman had for lunch, but she fired a few rounds of artillery off directly into the cushion of that chair. And my mother's like, "Oh!" Finally, Betty left. My mother gets to work. She's got the solutions and the sprays and the cleaners and the brushes and the combs and the tweezers, and she's doing everything she can to try to get this chair looking back to normal. And finally, after 3 days, she came up with a solution. She donated the damn thing to the homeless shelter. That creates a new problem. We now have a gap in the museum. We need a new exhibit. What are we going to put in the living room? Well, that answer presented itself the following week. Because if the living room was the museum, the kitchen was the place my mother wanted to show off. And I do have to tell you that this kitchen was exquisite, it was modern, and it was updated if it was 1969. Let me describe the kitchen to you. It had yellow and orange daisy wallpaper, which matched the orange carpet. I don't know what's worse for a kitchen, orange or carpet. And the chairs, the kitchen chairs, were these swivel chairs that were these genuine imitation Naugahyde, you know, and my sister and I tried to say, "How many times you can spin around without falling down?" Woo, I'm getting old, it's getting tough to do. But the piece de resistance, or I should say, the pieces de resistance, was the matching set of appliances, refrigerator, stove, and dishwasher, in a color that I can only describe as a cross between maroon and burgundy. Maroon. And the same week that chair had to be thrown away, the compressor on the refrigerator died beyond repair. Oh my God, my mother said, "What am I going to do?" I said, "Just buy a new refrigerator." Are you kidding? Because nobody will ever buy this house unless they see the matching set of appliances, because they just don't make appliances like this anymore. One of the most true statements my mother ever made. That is one of the most true. So what are we going to do? Well, let's back up a minute. If the living room is the museum, where do we watch television? Well, our family room was our parents' bedroom. Upstairs, they had a TV, they had chairs on the side, and over in the corner, they had a little refrigerator, about this size, where my father kept his beer and his snacks and so on. My mother had an idea. I'll leave the old refrigerator in the kitchen, and I'm sure we can keep a lot of food upstairs, and I'll just buy another little small one, and we'll put it in the living room where the chair was. We were the only family in the world that had 2 working refrigerators, and neither of them were in the kitchen. So my mother had to decide, what to put where. So one day we're having dinner. She says, "Ythan, I need you to go get the ketchup and the mustard." So I go to the refrigerator in the living room and I grab the ketchup, no mustard. It's not that big a refrigerator. I should be able to find it. I go back to the kitchen. "Mom, I got the ketchup. Sorry, I think we're out of mustard." She went, No. Mustard is an upstairs food. What? Ketchup is a downstairs food. Mustard is an upstairs food. Why? She says, "Well, if I'm cooking hamburgers, I'm cooking French fries, we eat those in the kitchen. Ketchup. Your father likes pretzels, he dips them in mustard. Upstairs food." Okay? So now I came downstairs one day and my mother liked to save money, so she bought all of her olives and pickles in those big BJ's jars, which didn't fit in either refrigerator, so she saves the little jars. And she's putting olives in one, and green olives in one, and black olives in the other, and so on. Now, here is your trivia question for the night. Black olives, are they upstairs food or downstairs food? So by a show of applause, who thinks black olives are downstairs food? You are correct. And he knows because he's a chef. That's why. You know downstairs food. Olives go in salads and recipes and so on downstairs. My father's little mini bar was upstairs with the green olives going to Bloody Marys and the martini. Come on, people. This is easy. Milk and cream. Milk, cereal, coffee, cream, upstairs, right? And this problem went on until my mother finally sold the house. And the only concession that she had to make was that the new owner says she has to get rid of the old refrigerator. So I mentioned this was an emotional month for me. Obviously, my mother passing was one sort of emotion, but last month I had a very different emotion, a lot of joy. I got married last month. Thank you. I put on the spot my beautiful wife, Erica, and we did it in style, folks. We went to New Orleans, got married on Bourbon Street during Mardi Gras. Yeah, is that all right? And they told you, she's from down there. Now, Mardi Gras, French. Okay? Does anybody know what it translates to in English? Fat Tuesday. It used to be Fat Tuesday, but there was a group of women named Tuesday that thought it was disrespectful and politically incorrect, so it's now known as Heavy Set Tuesday. I learned a lot of the traditions while I was down there. Anybody know what a king cake is? You probably do. King cake. King cake. King cake is like a bundt cake, and they use food coloring to put, yellow, green, and purple, and they bake a little plastic baby into the cake. And I guess there's a big game or something. You chuck it off the cake. Whoever gets the plastic baby wins the prize. But during Mardi Gras time, there is so much production of these cakes. Some get left out, some get plus. Some people get cakes without a baby in it, and Louisiana fixed that. They became the first state in the union to make it a crime to take the baby out of the cake before it finishes baking. Think about it. Louisiana, like every couple, there are things that my wife and I have in common. There are things that we do not have in common. Something we do not have in common is our musical taste. I am classic rock, Beatles, Stones, so on. Erica likes hip hop. And yeah, this is the nonsense. Erica likes hip hop. And she's installed a special device on the radio dial in her car. It's a little chain with a padlock. And if I touch it, I get an electric shock. If I ever try to change the station off of Sirius XM 43, Rock the Bells, that is your LL Cool J inspired old school rap station. And people have asked me, how can you be married to somebody with such different musical taste? And I tell people, if your wife liking hip hop is an issue, I got news for you, son. I got 99 problems and this ain't one. I guess you guys have heard that one, huh? Well, I've listened to a lot of rap, and I've become sort of an expert in the genre, I suppose. From the perspective of an OWG, an old white guy. So I'm going to explain the hip hop culture as an OWG for all you OWPs. Yeah? Now, all you have to do if you want to perform rap, all you got to do, you don't need any talent, you don't need any experience, you don't need any material, you can suck completely, a lot like being the host of a local stand-up comedy show. All you need to do is take some iteration of your name and put the letters DJ in front of it. So our performer back there, you could be DJ Naughtily Natalie, right? I'd be DJ Easy Eth. Our headliner, Ralph Tedda, DJ Tedda Titties. You can do whatever you want with your name, right? Anybody ever try? Anybody ever try to go out and rap? You ever try? I mean, if to rock a rhyme that's right on time, it's tricky. So after you've been performing for a while as a DJ, you can apply to have your status elevated from DJ to MC. As an MC, that demonstrates to the public that you have achieved a level of success and you are now a distinctive member of the profession with notoriety that now has an unscrupulous girlfriend that is using the majority of your money to purchase expensive jewelry. Or for the people that didn't have to OWG that down for, it means that you are a banging Big Willie with a bizzle that's blowing your bank on bling. Now, it is the ultimate goal of the MC to aspire to that highest level. You got DJ, you got MC, and there's one more level. And it's a level that few aspire to. And that, of course, is Grandmaster. Now, when you are a Grandmaster, you get all the perks. The first thing the Grandmaster does is he chooses an entourage from the three best MCs that he can find to be his entourage. Okay? And there are going to be a lot of MCs that are going to try to impress the chicks. And they're going to say, hey, I'm going to be with that Grandmaster. No, do not be fooled. Because it's in the Constitution of Rap, written by the founding fathers of rap, the Sugar Hill Gang, where it specifically states that it is the Grand Master with the three MCs that shocks the house for all the young ladies. And the sucker MCs, they're just trying to prove a point. It's the treacherous trio, that's the serious joint, if you don't know that. But every year, when they choose who's going to be elevated from DJs to MC, you can't just be voted on by one Grandmaster. It takes two to make the thing go right. And if you don't get selected, they just tell you these are the breaks. Break it up, break it up, break it up, break down. But the best part of the whole thing is the part that I'm going to leave you with this tonight. I'm going to share with you. Not too many people really ever get to hear this. This is the oath that they make you take to move from DJ to MC. It demonstrates your passion, your commitment to your craft. And I'm going to teach it to all of you tonight. I'm going to ask you all to raise your right hand. Come on, play along. It's my job to warm you up to the funny people, okay? So I want you to turn it slightly this way, okay? And while you're getting ready to take the oath, that's good. You guys are doing great. You guys are doing great. Don't get tired. That's your left hand, by the way. Okay. Ready? Follow after me. You better lose yourself in the music. The moment. You own it. You better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss this chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. Yo. I don't know. All right. Thank you very much. Let's bring on Eddie Dart, now your school player, OWG.